your mind be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
Welcome to BodyWork. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to BodyWorkBoxing. The topic of discussion today is, I believe the hardcore boxing fan, that fan base is on life support. And I also believe that we're in an era right now where there are really a lot of casual fans dressed in hardcore boxing fan clothing, much like, wolves in sheep clothing. There's a lot of wolves in sheep's clothing, meaning that we in a social media era, and I fault and I blame social media and the sensationalism aspect. Everybody wanted to be Charleston, why everybody want to come out and say something sensational to get that extra look or that like or to garner that attention. And even when you see titles of people's videos, it's okay to clickbait. One of my favorite channels, clickbait, damn near every day. All they do is just put a question mark on it, but there is no breaking news oftentimes. There is nothing new to discuss about it, and I think that content creators, especially content creators, they've realized what a lot of promoters have realized. And really what that is that the hardcore boxing fan, it takes a back seat to the casual. Because if you can always get a group of casuals, because if you think about it, your return to subscribe, once somebody subscribe and they listen to you, unless they unsubscribe from you, they're going to come back. They're going to at least, they at least have the option of being able to view whatever it is from the point that they subscribe to you every time you drop something, especially if they update their notification. If you rock with my channel, update your notifications right now. Make sure that you see your notifications, because YouTube may delay a day or two before you actually see that I have a new video. But you have your hardcores that are going to see what you put out every day. And in boxing, you have your hardcore fans that's going to check for you. They're going to, if they got social media, if they got Instagram or Twitter, they're going to see, okay, is they training? Are they training? Are they, how are their spirits? Do they go through anything? Are they active? Do they have a fight coming up? Your hardcores are going to follow you. They might not obsess over you, but they're going to follow you. They're going to keep track of what you got going on. And the promoter understands that it's not the job to produce hardcore boxing fans. It's the job to kind of finagle maybe somebody that fell out of love with football to come over and, and take a peek at boxing. Somebody that might have been, exhausted with watching and waiting for big things to happen in tennis to come over and take a look at boxing. Somebody that might not agree with what's going on in MMA to come over and take a look at boxing. So the promoters are always catering to people that are not really hardcore fans, even though hardcore boxing fans are the staple of boxing. And people are like, what are you saying, Mike? Why are you talking? Because we're in the era right now where we have shows like The Boxing Mouth. They'll come out and do a show about how people are exhausted with, the talks of Errol Spence and Bud Crawford and how people are, disappointed, and people have took all the fun and the joy out of, the discussions. They'll come out and say something like that, and people are like, oh man, you're right, man, we should be, rah-rah, they had their pom-poms, but they'll turn right around. They'll turn right around and tell a fighter like Shakur to his face that they don't think that the fight between him and Devin Haney is ready yet. Like, let's really sit back and really think about that. And this is not an attack. This is responsible dialogue. And as a hardcore boxing fan, you have no firm standing or no firm footing to be able to say that that fight isn't ready. If they're both in your pound for pound list, and contrary to popular belief, I hear a lot of the talking points that I come up with floating around on other channels never get the credit for it. But I was one of the first people to say, hey, if these guys are on your pod, I got a video to show it. That's why I date my thumbnails. I put dates on them so you can see when these talking points actually was given birth. And then you can go back and look at whoever's saying what, and then you'll see when they started saying it. Because a lot of people watch. They can't show no affiliation because I keep it all the way a buck. Sometimes it's offensive, but I realize that people do not like the truth. And we are in an era where the hardcore boxing fan is on life support. The hardcore boxing content creator is on life support. I'ma stand firm in it. It's not always the easiest thing because it's not the popular decision. It's easy to just, it's easy to ride the coattails of Devin Haney and all that because you know that they're on the rise and they undisputed. You can garner all the clout, all the praise. You can agree with all the BS that they're doing in real time to come back in hindsight only to say, oh man, yeah, we saw it. It's like, but you have no responsibility to speak truth to power when it comes to all the moves that they're making. Why? Because you're not a hardcore boxing fan. You're a casual disguised as a hardcore boxing fan. You're a casual content creator disguised as a hardcore content creator. When it comes to boxing, those likes, that extra subscription, you striving to get to 1,000 subscribers, you striving to get to 1 million subscribers, that does not allow you to tell the truth. That does not allow you to stick to hardcore boxing principles, meaning that you want to see the best fight the best. What it will do is I have you make a video about face value where instead of bringing your favorite boxer up to a certain standard, you lower the standard. You excuse away the knockout. You say that knockouts, man, everything ain't about knockouts. Hardcore, that's a point that does not need to be made when we're talking about hardcore boxing fans, because we know that when the best are fighting the best, more than likely there will not be a knockout. However, you cannot prove that knockouts are overrated. Why? Because knockouts are the only way to get the job done. In this era where a ref and a judge, we can watch a fight, we can watch a 10-round fight, we can watch a 12-round fight, and at the end we can conclude that this fighter won, but depending on how the judges score that fighter will not get the victory. That fighter will not get the victory. And I'm not talking about the kind of fans who, no matter what they see and hear, they always gonna be biased and say, oh nah man, like with the Spence and Porter fight, oh man, nah, Porter really won that, man. No, we're not talking about biased fans like that where your eyes are lying to you as far as what you saw. And they say, oh man, without the knockdown, blah blah blah. Maybe so, but we're not talking about that kind of bias. We're talking about the kind of bias that will allow a judge, in the case of Mayweather and Canelo, that allow a judge to actually say that Canelo actually won a round, that he won a round. You can watch that fight 1,000,000 times and you will never be able to see a spot where Canelo actually won a round. And we still have people making videos saying, oh man, everything not about knockouts. No, knockouts are the only way to guarantee that you get the job done. Also, a knockout, when you have two pure boxers, a knockout is the deciding factor. A stoppage is the deciding factor as to who figured that person out and then put them in park, stop them. But we would rather lower our standards because your favorite fighter can't get a knockout, your favorite fighter can't get a knockdown. Then you have to change your points to where, oh man, everybody just wants to, sounding like an old gal, sound like a whole female. about how, oh man, it's not always about the knockout. We know that, but you're not a hardcore boxing fan. You want to make excuses for all the moves that your favorite fighter makes. You want to make excuses to actually save your favorite fighter from the real smoke. You want to justify. You don't want to do your homework and actually go look and look at the facts. Why? Because you need that casual audience. You have to convert somebody in that casual audience over to your team. As promoters, you got to get that casual audience to get more eyeballs on these boxers. So I understand it more when the promoters do it. I don't understand it when content creators do it. I don't understand it when other boxers don't speak up, because my motto is sick. Silence is consent. And when you say nothing, you approve of it. When you said nothing when Canelo made all those moves, you approved of it. So in my opinion, you have no right to sound so adamant about it now and to speak out about it now. Yeah, we applaud you now, but in real time, you say nothing. It's a bunch of extremists. It's a bunch of people that they don't want to have any kind of real comprehension when it comes down to breaking down fights. You know, where you see all of Spence's era, but you don't see any of Bud's, or vice versa. You say Spence can do no wrong and Bud can do no right. No, the truth is somewhere in the middle. But we have to hold each fighter feet to the fire. And we have to be hardcore even when it's the hard or difficult thing to do. One of my guys that I listened to here recently, man, he just came out and said that Devin Haney and DHP ain't ducking no smoke. That's a lie. That's a lie. But because you don't want to do any homework, you would rather continue to slander on a Gary Russell Jr., knowing everybody who knows the history, anybody who, this is the internet era, so it's really no excuse. There are videos where if you really wanted to stand on that talking point, you can go back and do your research. You can go back and do your homework, and you can actually see, instead of riding the coattails of your favorite hardcore boxing content creator that's really a casual disguised as a hardcore. You know, we are, like I always say, in this life, I'm the custodial DNA of all who came and went before me. And as a hardcore, man, you have a responsibility, man, to uphold certain truths, certain values, and certain concepts and conduct in the sport of boxing to keep it going. Because even though the promoters take us for granted as the hardcore, we are the ones who actually hold boxing down. When it comes down to the historians, people who putting out videos, them ones that be like, oh man, I never knew that. I never knew about McClellan. I never knew about, you know, the Hawk, Julian Jackson. I never knew about Salvador Sanchez. It's the hardcore boxing fan from that time that are willing to actually put out those timelines and to stay firm and consistent. Say, oh no, that wasn't the baddest man of that era. So we have a responsibility. I just think that the hardcore boxing fan is dying. And I'm asking you, if you are truly a hardcore, man, stop all the bias talk, man. Stop all the, you're killing boxing. You're giving the footway to novelty boxing and these other paths to where boxing is splintering off, and they say, oh man, it's good, it's gonna get more eyeballs. No, it's not. It's not good. It's not good. It's gonna get a lot of people hurt because a lot of people think they can go in there and play boxing, and they have not put in the years. They have not put in the time. They have not gotten the proper tutelage. They don't know how to protect themselves. They might start to learn how to throw an effective punch, but they're not conditioned to be able to take those kind of punches in the head, and it's only a matter of time before we start getting people hurt. So let's buckle down and get back to our hardcore values and principles, and let's stand firm on boxing as a hardcore, and don't flirt with being a casual. Stop being sensational. Start telling the truth, even when it's inconvenient. Even when it might not get you that super chat. Even when it might not get you that like. Even when it might not get you that new subscriber. Let's get back to being hardcore boxing fans, if that's what you are. Otherwise, I don't want to see nobody telling Shakur and Devin Haney that fight ain't ready, but then turn around and doing video talking about why we can't get this Earl Spence in the Terrence Crawford fight. It makes no sense. What do you think about this? Are the hardcore boxing fans dying? Am I reaching? Or do I have a point? Thanks for everybody who took the time to listen here at BodyWorkBoxing, where we don't take things for face value. We do that.